Indoor cycling, Zwift, racing, parenting. We cover those and all of our hopes and dreams in between. Welcome to the Talk Dirty to Me podcast, an entertaining look into the lives of everyday people trying to achieve virtual cycling glory from our basements and garages from around the world. This podcast is rooted in Zwift and has evolved into found friendships, fitness, health, and a little sprinkle of humor. This may be one of the only podcasts where a little heavy breathing shouldn't scare you away, because we're riding our bikes while we're recording it.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're running on empty this morning. At least I am. We had ZRL yesterday, season 2 opener, and we were talking off recording, but my legs are feeling it today.
A little bit.
So we know Greg's legs are semi-fresh, although
I did my first workout yesterday in 4 months.
4 months.
They're all right.
That's a heck of a rest week, Greg. But
Yeah.
we'll get there.
I mean, I dropped out of it to do ZRL last season. Dropped out of my training plan. So I wasn't doing nothing, but anyway.
Well, we figured we'd start off by doing a little recap of yesterday's race for Drew and I.
Yeah.
So, Drew, I'll let you go first. You tell me how it went for you.
It was good. In the standings right now, our team, so I'm riding on Dirty Crack of Dawn this season. And we're currently second behind a cryogen team. It's actually a pretty crowded field this season compared to last year. We have our 4C teams. The Dirty Sprockets have a team. And 2 herd teams, cryogen, a couple TZP teams, a Zert team. There's a bunch of new teams that we didn't have to compete with last year. But it made it interesting. It made for a good race. The sprints came quick, but as is usually the case with ZRL, the in-between,
Pun intended.
Yeah. The in-between little portions were nice. A little zone 2 ride. It wasn't terrible, but took advantage of it. I got dropped on the comm, finished 22nd overall, but mission accomplished, taking as many of the FAL and FTS points on the sprints as they could. It was a weird setup with 4 sprints and only 1 offering FTS points. So
Yeah, I think that's
kind of
unique
weird. Yeah,
to this race, because most of the time when they have multiple sprints, they're usually at least all FTS, I think.
yeah. So
Was it just one lap?
It was one lap.
Yeah, that's the more strange thing to me is that FTS on a 1 lap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, what was it? Zwift Insider said that it was the shortest points race in ZRL
Yeah.
history.
Oh,
So,
Yeah, 24 and some change kilometers.
yep.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fast.
It was
So
short
for
and
me,
quick.
Yeah, it was. It was like 35 minutes all in, I think.
Yeah.
Less than for us.
Yep.
Yeah, for me. So first ZRL as a B. I got to ride with a bunch of really strong people from Eat Dirt, though. So that was fun. I stuck in the main group up until the comm, contested the fastest through sprint, the alley sprint, got 7th fastest through, and I think 7th or 8th across the line.
Good for you.
So I nabbed some
Nice.
points there. So I was like, all right, for my first race in B, I'll take that.
Absolutely.
So, and then
That was
we hit
good.
the comm, and I stuck with the comm for, I don't know, maybe the first like less than a third, maybe
Yeah.
quarter. And then they just started riding off, and they were all doing, like 5.2.
Yeah.
And I was like, my top end 5 minute is like 3.8. Like, I'm not making it up there. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep going as hard as I can. I ended up maxing out at like 3.9 for the climb. So that was pretty good for me. I was proud of that.
Yeah.
Finished, I got caught up by the chase group and finished with them, sprinted at the end, ended up with 49th out of 96.
Nice.
So
I was going to say, it's a really respectable finish.
yeah, I was happy.
I say, sometimes the bunch group that catches you is like a blessing. Because
Yeah.
otherwise you're riding in no man's land. And
You're like,
kinda,
oh, thank goodness
it's not
I can
fun.
draft off somebody.
Yeah, helps the finish sprint.
Trent Johnson was in that group, and he
Did you
was
get a wave?
he was waving. For those who don't know, Trent, his move is he waves at you as he passes you. At least that's what he's doing for me.
Unless he's not holding the power up, you know.
Trent just waves
Everyone.
to you, period.
Yeah.
Trent waves when you pass him as well.
Yeah,
He's just a very friendly guy.
a very friendly guy.
Yeah.
But he messaged me afterward, and he's like, I was trying to distract you with my wave so you wouldn't sprint. It's like, sorry, I was focused.
No, the alley sprint was tough too because it was a long sprint. 400
Oh,
yards,
man.
I think.
Yeah, 400 for like 438 or something.
Yeah, it was a longer one.
And in order to
mostly
get fastest
downhill,
through,
but-
you had to get up to it
Yep,
beforehand, you know?
right.
That we picked that light bridge,
Yep,
the Bifrost, if
Yeah.
you will.
yep.
Sure.
Yeah, we. I was on the most aero setup that I could get, and as I was sprinting, I was like, "All right, this is helping." I hit that calm, and I was not happy with the decision that I made.
We were gonna have Sully critique my race because I usually record it and stream it, and he messaged me like, "What happened with the comm?" He's like, "It looks like you just drifted away." I was like, I was hurting.
I was out of energy.
Yeah.
4 all-out sprints in 20 minutes.
I did not do all out on the sprints.
No.
I was too cautious.
Yeah.
Had I known that I was going to hang with the group for the whole time, I may have put in more effort on the sprints,
Yeah.
but I was afraid I was going to get dropped. Next time I'll know. Like next week,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going all in.
Sprint
Next week
fest.
is Classique, 6 laps.
I love that sprint, though. We,
That's a good one.
back in June, we had a Herd Summer Racing League race on that one. I think back in like maybe May or April, there was another Summer Racing League race with London Flat, but Clay Jackson DS'd for Sully and I. And he was the one who was like, when you see the 300-meter marker, you go. And Sully and I were like, aye, aye, Captain. And we hit it, and a great sprint, flat, quick.
Yeah. I think it's
Obvious
actually a
landmark.
slight downhill at the end, too.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like very subtle, like 1%.
Yep. So it's good.
One of my
Quick,
favorites on
quick.
Sprintapalooza for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's purely selfish because, you know, we've talked about this, having high watts, but not necessarily the highest watt per kilo. A flat sprint is a benefit
oh, yeah, of course.
as opposed to that
Downhill
uphill
is a
sprint
boon.
in New York.
Oh, that one's terrible. Especially because it's
Yeah.
at the end. You
Oh,
start
yes.
going down, and then you finish up. And it's like, oh,
Yes, to your point, Greg.
Sucks the life
My
right out of you.
absolute favorite sprint has to be it was with the JWB bridge.
yeah.
I don't know if it's reversed.
Yeah.
It's the one where you're coming over the hill
Yep.
Yeah.
and then you hit it
Coming
at the
right
bottom.
down into a
Yeah,
9-second
it's JWP
sprint.
reverse.
That's my favorite.
Yep.
I love it.
Of course,
I
that
think-
sprint going the other way is a minute-long sprint.
Oh my gosh. And it's
Yeah.
uphill.
Yeah. But,
Ever
Only
so
slightly uphill.
Right. Just enough to sap your watts.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yesterday was fun. It was good to see, you know, the teams and everything that were in our division. I see where everybody's going to shake out.
So I'm in Division 1, Atlantic B.
Sure.
I was just going to ask if you won.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a stacked field for us. We got dirt OGs killing it.
Yeah.
And then there's Dirt Reynolds and
Yep.
us. There's also dirt. I think there's a sprocket team in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Dirt
So, yeah,
Reynolds
it's,
is top 2, right?
No,
I think they were fourth.
Fourth. They finished fourth,
Yeah.
2 points out of third.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
I saw him up there.
2 points.
2 points. So we were
I mean,
next to
representing.
last. We all had fun.
I was going to say.
I had a great time. I think the
That's
other
the
guys
point,
had fun. But
Yeah.
there's always next week.
That's it. Always
Putting
next
our-
week.
Putting our big muscle out there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well,
Pete, this is your call out, buddy. Next week is your sprint fest. Let's do it, bud.
Wait, which Peter are we talking to right now?
That's Peter Kennan,
Okay.
our fellow 2 member
Yep.
tomorrow.
Hello, big watt guy.
Yeah. So I think personally,
Big whoop beat.
things I want, looking at the video after the fact, things I feel like I maybe could have done differently. Go for all the sprints.
Right.
And I think next time there's a sub 5 minute calm, I'm going to try and stand up more while I'm climbing. Because I think that's something I haven't practiced enough.
I think
it'd
in
be
your defense
beneficial.
yesterday, it was kind of hard to figure that out, though, because the calm flattened out for like longer sections. It never got above, I think, like 6-7%
Right.
for more than 100 meters. And then it would flatten out in between rooftops and then ramp back up again, flatten out. So it was kind of hard to judge and to pace properly.
Yeah. And it was, I keep resting on this, but it was my first ZRL as a B.
Yeah, and that's
Which is, I've done races as a B, but
Yep.
this is vastly different.
ZRL
That
was
first race-
a different beast.
Yeah, the first race of every season, especially my first season as a B, and then even my second one, you kind of got to figure out who's in your field, who are the guys from the different teams you can mark,
Yep.
and who are the guys that you end up with even when you mark someone else,
A backup plan.
which matters.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And then the other thing, I mean, I think it's a pretty standard adage, but train your weakness, race your strength.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know there's going to be a sustained climb. Go all out on the sprints. So those are the points you're going to get.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. Name of the game.
It's rough, but
I think after next
Yeah.
week, it turns to climbing a little bit more. So
I mean, I think, so next week's going to be unique because like you said, there are 5 sprints, but only the fastest through for the race.
yep.
So
Plenty of
in my
FAO.
experience, that first one is always going to be where the fastest through comes.
Yep.
yeah,
Because you got people going fast that you can draft off of.
Yep. Fast and fresh.
Yeah.
Everybody's legs
Yeah.
feel good.
So come warmed up.
That's it.
I'm warmed up and hang at the back of that pack.
Yep.
I actually started like
Don't worry about
mid-pack
FAL.
yesterday. And I think
Yeah.
that's where I probably could have done better if I was a little further back.
Really.
But again, it's that mental fear of I'm going to fall off if I
Yep.
get too far back.
Also, the fear. I know. For me, a lot of times the fear is if I go too hard on a sprint, and then I'm not able to kind of maintain power after the sprint. Somebody's going to launch an attack,
Yeah,
and I'm not
Yeah.
going to be able to answer it. So,
And that's exactly what the A's did in their race.
really,
Was they purposefully
Yeah.
attacked as a team after that FTS to drop those sprinters.
Yep.
And it worked.
that's
You're a
awesome.
big enough group.
That's a
Well,
great team tactic.
yeah.
It's the
So
point,
we'll see
right?
how next week shapes up. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
What else
Be
we
a
got
good
on the agenda today, fellas?
I don't know, man. Greg, what plan are you doing now on Trainer Road?
Base one.
Yeah.
So back to low volume, just 3 days a week.
Okay.
And I line it up so that my easiest ride falls on Thursdays. And then I sub that with TTT usually.
Yep.
So I've got my 90-minute on Tuesdays and then my 60 to 75 on Sunday. Lets me spread them out and keep a super long ride on Saturdays.
That's an interesting kind
Tank
of
destroyers.
way to do it. So you have a Trainer Road workout planned for the same day as TTT?
Yep. It's always the easiest ride.
Ah, see?
The idea is that's usually, during base, that's usually
Sweet spot
or an easy threshold.
Yep.
And I figure TTT is basically threshold over unders.
Yep.
Or VO2, depending.
For you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been sitting here. I'm technically on the recovery week following base one, the ramp test on Monday for base two. And right now it's set up Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. And it's been fine because it's been 2 sweet spots and a threshold on Saturday. But
Sure.
I was sitting there looking at it going forward, and it's VO2 max on Monday, sweet spot Wednesday, threshold Saturday, with ZRL Tuesday, and TTT Thursday. So that doesn't seem very sustainable. So I'm intrigued.
That's a young man's training plan.
I'm intrigued by that idea of putting like a sweet spot or the threshold on Thursday.
Well, and part of when I originally did it, I went, stacked workouts Monday, Tuesday, and then kept TTT. Wednesday was in like a zone 2 day. I think Friday was a rest day. And then Saturday was a hard work day. Sunday was endurance.
Yep.
And by the time I got to build, stacking a Monday, Tuesday was not fun.
Yeah. I love having Monday as a potential rest day if I can.
Yeah. And then once I accepted that I needed to go hard on the hard days, spreading it to Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday was real nice.
Yeah.
The other thing is with Tuesday, it happens that a lot of good racing, even outside of ZRL season, occurs on Tuesdays.
Right.
And so that my body got kind of used to Tuesday
Being a hard day.
as a hard day.
Yep.
So that when I'm not doing Trainer Road, I'm still down for punishment on a Tuesday.
Sure.
Which has been useful.
Interesting. Yeah, because I think if I could set it up even Monday, Thursday, Saturday, that might be more in line with what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Greg.
I'm currently doing. I don't even know what phase I'm in. I think I must be in a base. I'm on a bunch of sweet spot and threshold. So what's that?
Oh, that's base.
Base. So I do Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. So low volume. And then basically just, fit in all the other stuff around it.
Right.
And I generally do Monday, I'll do 2 hours. So I'll do an hour of Trainer Road and an hour of our Monday morning blues.
Yep.
Sometimes more. And then Tuesday ZRL, and then a little bit after, usually. It's like half hour, 45 minutes.
Right.
And then Wednesday today with the podcast, it's been hard to do the harder stuff.
Yeah.
Still be able to talk. So I've been trying to do shortened versions after the podcast. We'll see. I may end up moving my Wednesday to Sunday.
Yeah. I
Then,
said it last week.
Thursday.
TTT.
Thursday TTT, Friday Sprintapalooza, Saturday our long ride.
Yep.
It's a full week.
My weekend last week, I was telling Dodd before we started recording, was TTT Thursday. I think Friday I took it easy. Saturday, sweet spot that I pushed off from Wednesday. Sunday was threshold. And then Monday was the first endurance ride. Tuesday is ERL. And here we are today on another endurance ride. I'm on my rest week.
Just to clarify, when you said Friday you took it easy, is that code for I overslept for Sprinta?
Yes. Missed the start of Sprinta.
Just
woke up and was like,
for accountability.
A little bit. And I was like, I remember the alarm went off. I said, the good thing about Sprinta is I can kind of late join, miss the first sprint, and still kind of be okay. Yeah. And then just kept hitting snooze. I was like, it's not happening.
I definitely slept through Sprinter last week.
Yeah.
I had no shame about that.
It's an invaluable resource for ZRL, that's for sure.
Yeah. You know, I think we had talked about this in a message with Truesdale about like when you're not planning on sleeping in, and your alarm wakes you up, and you're like, I'll just sleep in a little bit. Yeah. Like that sleep is so low quality.
So low quality.
That it's like, you might as well just get up.
Well, I remember I read it somewhere.
Tuesday
one time
and I were
where it was like,
about that.
If you want to be somebody who wakes up early in the morning, get up when your alarm goes off.
Yeah.
Don't give yourself the opportunity to snooze. Just get out of bed. Just get up.
I don't even know how to snooze
wake yourself up
on my phone. Not familiar with it at all.
No.
I will re-advertise my solution to this problem, which is I have an alarm on my watch. It vibrates only. Wakes me up.
Yep.
And then 1 minute later, I have an alarm set on my phone that is very loud and vibrating. And it's on the counter in the bathroom in our bedroom. So I have to get up and get to my phone before it wakes up my wife. And she hits me.
It's like a Mission Impossible mission. You have 1 minute to get to your phone.
It works. My body now, and I'm finally, gosh dang, it took too long. Finally back to Eastern time. I was in Phoenix for a week, 10 days actually. That messed me all up, but I'm finally back to my body just wakes up at 5 a.m.
Yep.
And then I lay in bed waiting for my watch to vibrate. And then I go and turn off my phone.
I think like when you go on vacation and you actively try to sleep in.
Yep.
And your body's like, no, you're supposed to be up now.
Yeah.
That was
Why are we not running yet?
My body would wake up at 3 a.m. there, and I would just lay in bed, staring at things.
Listen, if I ever go west, I'm just going to be a night owl because my body wakes up at 3:40 on its own.
Yeah. Automatically.
I'll be like, oh, it's midnight. All right, let's go do something.
I always laugh. I think people in the coastal time zones are a little bit of a disadvantage just because there's the potential for such a large time gap. Like if I go to California, if Greg goes to California, it's a 3-hour difference. If you go, Mike, it's a 2-hour difference. Todd's looking at a 2-hour difference. Big deal, but not quite 3.
I'm 2 hours west, 1 hour east.
Yep. Not too bad.
Whatever. I'll figure it out.
But
I don't sleep anyway.
I remember.
It sounds silly, but traveling to other states was much easier when I was in Central Time Zone.
Yeah.
For that very reason. True.
I remember when I was younger, my dad would get up and go for runs and stuff. And then when I came of age and I was trying to go for runs myself early in the morning, my dad was like, the trick is get out before your body knows what you're doing. He was like, wake yourself up on the road while you're running. And then your brain kicks in and is like, wait a minute, what are we doing? Why
are we doing? We're doing this again.
Yeah. Why are we running right now? When did this happen?
Don't give your brain a chance to say no.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't let it kick in. Don't let it wake up. Just go. Goes hand
That's
in
how I
hand with
started.
that when the alarm goes off, just get up mentality.
Yeah.
Don't think
I
about it.
also switched from. I told myself I can move my alarm later by like 5 minutes. If I wake up, walk downstairs, everything's ready for me.
Yep.
Change right before I get on my bike. Get on the bike, start pedaling. Doesn't matter what's happening.
Yep. No,
It totally works.
That's the biggest thing. Laying everything out in the morning. If you even forget one thing, immediately becomes an excuse. Oh,
Yeah.
well, now I got to go back into the bedroom and open a dresser drawer and get this out. That's going to wake up, my wife. I don't really want to do that, so I can always
Bottle's ready.
lay back down.
Yeah, it's such
bottles
a
have to be ready.
oh, absolutely. That's such a good mentality to have for life in general, though, is set yourself up for success,
Yep.
and you're less likely to fail.
Oh yeah.
And it's you think it's little. Yeah, I put my socks on my bedside table. I put my Gatorade bottle there,
Yep.
ready to go.
Just go
And it's alarm goes off, on my feet, out the door,
out the door.
Up and out.
out
That's
the door
why
to my
even-
cold basement.
Yeah, that'll wake you up. That'll get you
The
going
best
pretty quick.
basement.
No, we. That's why the rest days, scheduled rest days, feel so good because your body wakes up when it would normally be riding, and you're like, "Oh no, I'm good."
Did you say rest? Rest day? Can you
rest day.
clarify
Yeah.
what that means? I'm unfamiliar with the term.
That's the day that
I
the
think-
rest of the team takes off.
Yeah.
From
That makes
From
sense.
I thought we were going to wait for Sully to be here to talk about this, but let's talk about rest days and rest weeks.
Yeah.
Dodd.
rest days, rest weeks.
Give it
Dodd
to
will
us,
have some
Greg.
interesting insights. I think.
Well, I'm not an exercise physiologist, but I do read the internet, so I know a thing or two.
That makes you an expert.
Yeah. Listeners at home who are not watching cannot see the wry smile I just ladled on. But in any building scenario, you need a break for your body to adapt to the stress it's been receiving. I also hate rest weeks. I find them terrifying and also boring.
Boring, yeah.
So what else am I doing? Especially when it's we'll just wake up and do Z2 every day.
Yeah.
But at some point, I suppose it would be possible for you to constantly thread the gap of not overloading fatigue. Stay just barely into the green the whole time. At some point, you got to take a break, let your body adjust.
Yep. No, that's, like you said, it's all about the adaptations that your body has to make and is trying to make, rest. I remember there was somewhere somebody had said, a personal trainer or somebody, everybody thinks that the gains come when you're working out and you're exercising. This was, I think, in terms of strength training. When you're lifting all the heavy weight, that's when you're getting stronger. And
Yeah.
the irony is that that's actually not. That's when you're getting weaker. When you rest is when you're getting stronger. So
Yeah.
and it's funny,
So-
you listen to the guys in the Discord, and everybody who's tried a rest week is always amazed at when they come back and they have a 5-watt FTP bump or, personal best 5-minute power or something like that.
So I come from a different angle on this, I guess.
Go on.
I don't disagree with, yes, your body adapts during rest. For me, it's such a hard concept to do mentally,
Yep.
to shut it off,
Yeah.
because and it goes back to my history of struggles with weight
Yep.
and being heavy. And it's if I take a day off, I'm
Right.
not burning
Yeah.
anything. I'm not making any progress toward my ultimate goal of being healthier.
Yep.
So it doesn't fit with my goals. Why should I do that? When
Right.
realistically, if you're worried about quote unquote calorie burn or whatever, your resting metabolic rate has been inflated because you're trying to heal for that day off. Because a lot of people eat less on their off days. And it's like, no, you can't do that. You got to eat what you normally eat. Maybe better quality. But that's so hard mentally for me. I struggle with it every time.
I think even on the other side of that, one of the mental struggles is the fear that you're going to never be able to kick it back in. That rest day sure feels good. It feels good to sleep in. It feels good not to have to punish your legs. So you sit there and take a rest day Monday. Come Tuesday, you're like, it felt so nice yesterday. I got to get back on the bike and race, or got to do the workout, or whatever it is. It could become a very slippery slope to sit there and be like, well, nobody's looking. I could just go back to bed. And like Greg said, another zone 2 day never hurt anybody.
Yeah. It's just boring.
I think that's one of the nice things about cycling now, is you go for a run, at least for me, I'm certainly no, great runner, but my hips hurt, my back hurts, my legs hurt, my knees hurt, ankles, feet for a day afterwards, When I go for a 6 mile run, 8 mile run, everything hurts for a day. Cycling, everything kind of adjusts. So you can do active recovery days a lot easier on the bike than you can for running or anything else. So
that's the ticket right there. Active recovery.
I love that term.
It's like, it's not as good as rest, but it's pretty darn close.
Yep, it's true.
And that's what I try to do, that more than anything, because at least I'm like, okay, well, I'll hop on the bike and just spin for an hour or whatever.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Helps with the mental game, but whether or not it's really helping, I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah.
Junk miles.
Nah. No such thing as junk miles.
Junk miles. No,
Well, I mean, it goes back to what's your goal, right?
Yep.
You spend an hour and a half in Z2, you're definitely going to have metabolic benefits.
Sure.
You may not be getting faster unless it's a recovery week, but you're going to be building some endurance.
I would say you're making yourself more
resilient. You're going to have better metabolic burn the rest of the day.
Yeah. And that's
that was the. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, as a relatively new cyclist, the whole concept of endurance sport really for me was different. Because prior to this, I just did HIIT all the time. I did no steady state cardio at all.
Yep.
And just the concept of, you work easy miles to make yourself more resilient so you can do more stress.
Right.
And recover.
Yeah, you can hit the long miles. No, it's one of those things, especially if your goal is to burn calories, but even more than that, it's making your body more efficient at different energy stores. If you ride in zone 2, your body's burning more sugar than it is carbs. So, you're not really tapping into your glycogen stores. So
I can tell you, glycogen aside, insulin sensitivity goes way up.
Yep.
With zone 2 riding.
Yep.
And that's
that's something.
Talk about it more another time. But
I was going to say that's something I would love to delve into.
I can watch it.
Yes, I gotta get somebody certainly more knowledgeable than me to talk about that.
Well, I think Greg, just from personal experience, could talk for probably hours on that. I don't know if
that could be a different podcast itself.
Yeah. We'll put that on the docket.
Sure.
Because I find that interesting.
The short one for this is I can see I can watch. I've got a constant glucose monitor, so I can see my insulin sensitivity go up.
Yeah.
After about a week of zone 2 riding.
Yep.
Baseline sensitivity is through the roof.
Not to
My
go.
blood sugar just wants to hang out
Yeah.
in a very happy place.
Does that, not to go too far into it, but just a follow-up question, does that affect how much insulin you have to give yourself?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And specifically basal insulin and also bolus insulin, which is basal is like the constant rate.
Resting.
Just the insulin you need as your body metabolizes energy to stand and think and stuff. And then bolus insulin is larger single doses at meal times.
Yeah.
And both of those go down. When I was in Phoenix for a week, not on a bike, I was doing, yoga and body weight exercises, but I wasn't really doing anything strenuous or sustained. And I had to adjust all my ratios on the pump to tell it to give me more insulin, because my body was it had become less sensitive to insulin. It wasn't dramatic, but it was enough that I had to be like, okay, I need more insulin, because my blood sugar was always, 50, 60 milligrams per deciliter high.
Interesting.
Which, and put that in a package of training, that people always say, like, don't starve yourself on the bike, like eat what you want, even if it's like gummy bears or whatever.
Yep.
It's like you can eat processed sugars while you're doing it, because your body's going to burn them up.
It will burn it.
Yeah. Because it's primed and ready,
Yep.
That's crazy. That's something I've never really thought about.
Straight into the muscles.
The interesting thing too, I think, just getting off of the energy stores and blood sugar conversation, is you can take a rest day off the bike and still do exercise. You can strength train.
Yeah.
You can do other things that don't use your aerobic system. Obviously, again, a full rest day is ideal, but if you're somebody who wants to stay within the system, you can go 7 days a week and mix in some strength training or something like that. So,
yeah.
Which, I know, Drew, you do strength training as well, right?
I do, yeah.
You do like a 3-day split?
Right now it's down to like 2 because I'm lazy. I try to do 3. So
I've been on like a 3-day split. I'm entertaining doing a 4, but I don't know. It's another day I have to put more stuff on.
It's funny. It's one of those conversations of when I was in, college and just after college. You're doing arms one day and shoulders and back and chest, and you break everything up that way.
Yeah. Push, pull, leg, dude. Push, pull, leg.
That's it. Like, don't skip leg day. But
no, friends don't let friends skip leg day.
No, can't do it.
Can't do it.
But it's one of those things now where, especially the time crunch, because the other days of the week I'm on the bike and doing whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of focus more on like a full body. You hit 1 or 2 movements for each body part, and you're done in 45 minutes or so.
Right. Well, so first point for me is I get a cheat code for this compared to you guys, because I get up a full hour earlier.
Yeah.
So I have an extra hour in the morning, so I can do that. But
Yes.
That's my own choice, my own craziness.
I was gonna say, the cheat code is only you wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock.
3:40, yeah. But to be honest, if you guys started doing that, I would be out of luck, because I'd have no one to ride with, because you guys would be like, no, I'm going to lift now.
Well, I'm saying is I would lift first and then get on the bike. And I wonder if there's actually a science to that. That'd be something interesting to look up.
Yeah.
For what?
There's actually
Trainer Road article.
Is it
really?
Yep.
Just yesterday.
Yep.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
It's just
You read that too,
exactly
Greg?
what I was going to reference.
Go
I haven't
tell us about
seen
it,
that
Greg.
one yet.
We didn't finish it. Hold on. It's actually still pulled up.
Oh,
Like a sequence, right? So
well, I'll set it up for him. So there was an article on Trainer Road. Yeah, so it's talking about weight training and cycling specifically, because weight training is more anaerobic.
right.
And theoretically, if you're trying to train both, one of them is going to suffer.
Right.
So
They offset. They don't offset each other. They challenge each other.
Yeah, here you go. These are the prioritize cycling by doing it before strength training. Because that's the system you want your body focused on.
If that's your goal.
You're
Right.
correct. Weight training will suffer as a result. Only because that will be an afterthought in terms of prioritization for adaptations.
Right.
If you combine strength and cycling on the same day, separate them by at least 6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you, Dodd, and then there's other stuff like
The other
always
thing
give
they said
yourself a
was
rest day, blah, blah, blah.
if you're new to cycling, you should focus on your strength first.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was the other thing, the other point that I took away from that.
Right, because you'll see a dive on strength training
Yep.
Yeah.
if you suddenly prioritize. It's like when cyclists start running, right?
Yeah.
Your body is in pain.
Well, and the other thing they said was, especially if you're new to weightlifting, is you don't want to be fatigued when you're trying to do the exercise because your form will suffer
Right, exactly.
and you're more prone to injury. So you want to make sure you're getting your form correct first.
Right. That's the thing. Is, I mean, your body does only have a limited amount of resources to dedicate to exercise.
Yeah.
So, 6
So
hours.
I was going to ask you, Dodd, because you lift right after you finish riding, right?
Yeah. Within probably 10, 15 minutes. Now, I say that in general, that's what I do. Some days, like Monday, this was a work week for me. So Monday, I did a workout, and then I did Monday morning blues. So I was like, okay, not lifting today, so I'll have to lift tomorrow after ZRL. Well, I got home early, and I had the opportunity because my kids were napping. And I was like, I'm going to lift now.
Yep.
So there's an instance where I had more time, but that's few and far between.
Okay.
Interesting.
I've been trying to. I let all strength training go to the wayside last year, pretty rapidly. Actually, 2 years ago, and then last year as well.
Zwift will have that effect on weight training.
Well, because I used to do when I first started doing Zwift, I would ride 4 days a week,
Right.
and then on the non-riding days, I would wake up and do strength training. And then after I time on bike ballooned from like 4 hours to 10 hours, all of a sudden, right, I got to figure something out. Anyway, the long and short of it is I guess it's a resolution, but I've been pushing myself to come home at the end of the day, check in, make sure everything's okay. If I need to help with dinner and kids and stuff, I do. But otherwise, I go and I'm starting out with just like, body weight,
Yeah.
push-ups, pull-ups,
That's awesome.
easy weight squats, stuff like that.
As Arnold would say, get the pump.
I think,
Get it and get used to doing it in the evening
Right.
yeah,
or sort of late in the day.
That's awesome.
I think
And then hopefully transition to weights.
now I want to
Yeah.
clarify too, like when I say I'm lifting, I'm not like power lifting or anything. I'm doing,
Right.
Right.
8 to 10,
Right.
challenging, but not completely wearing myself out just to
Yep.
keep something up.
Strength training.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
like the body weight stuff, and if you have a finite amount of time, which we all do, but if you're going to focus on something, I firmly believe compound movements
Yep.
are
100%.
best. Like
Yep.
where you're using multiple muscle groups at a time, because you're not only is it efficient, but you're strengthening everything at once.
Yep.
And you're not like isolation exercises are great if you're like bodybuilding and wanna
College
focus
kid
on
trying to
one.
impress the girls at the bar,
Sure. And
I don't actually want big muscles.
No.
but
I just need some strength.
Right.
I mean, do I occasionally hit a set of hammer curls every week? Yes. Okay, I do. But yeah,
And do you
I mean,
look amazing doing it? Yes.
Well, that's why I think like
the only person I have to impress is my wife, because we all know I work out at home. So
if she wanted to be impressed, she'd just come downstairs and watch the
you mean
process.
right now, while I'm in my leotard and my sweatband?
No, the movements that I try to focus on for strength training with the weights. I'm a big fan, obviously, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, things like that. And I know sit-ups are like that kind of you love them or you hate them kind of thing. I've always loved them. I think it's great. Them combined with planks are great.
Crunches,
core workout.
crunches, baby. That's where it's at.
But for the weights, it's usually, military shoulder press, bench press, bent over row, deadlift. Not a huge fan of squats. I know a lot of cyclists swear by them, but you can get a lot of the same adaptations from a deadlift. Lunges, love lunges. Those kind of movements.
I personally found out how much I had been slacking on goblet squats.
Yeah.
Or just that form of squat.
Love goblet squats.
Because as a cyclist, you work all the outside of your leg, not a lot of the inside.
Yep.
And goblet squats hit that inside like.
Yep. Whew. I guess I should clarify. I hate back squats. With the rack, you got to get the rack, put it across the back of your shoulders. Yeah. Not a big fan of those. A lot of people, like you want to talk about form suffering. That's such a common one for people to hurt themselves.
Yeah, they hinge at the hips and then they just using their lower back to lift the weight.
Yep. Or they let their knees drift either too far forward, too far in. You start putting weird stress on different points of your knee that's not used to it.
Yeah.
You can do damage.
I learned that at some point. The popular back squat is the number one way, especially as a younger weightlifter, to do it wrong and injure yourself quite badly.
Yeah.
So one way to, no great game.
Nah. One way to form check a back squat, believe it or not, stand in front of a wall, and if you're real serious about it, put your toes against the wall and then do your squat. If your knees hit the wall, you're doing it all wrong.
Yep.
So
you got to push your butt back.
The first time I did that, I slammed my knees into the wall, so that was cool.
Butt back.
That wasn't fun.
I mean, I found as we all get older now in our late 30s rather than our early 30s or 20s, having the weight closer to my center of gravity is way more comfortable and easier to do as far as repetition and consistency than doing anything like that.
And also I feel like it's more impactful, because especially now I'm trying to really engage my core, help with my posture, stop me from rolling my shoulders forward. And the more you can get that weight closer to you, obviously, it'll work on different things, but it then allows you to do those movements where you'll hold the plate out in front and have to steady it and engage your core. So
right.
All about targeting different muscle groups.
My primary care doctor, whom I know from training, she and I did rotations together.
Yep.
And she's now my primary care doctor, which is going to get weird in a couple of years whenever I need a prostate exam, but we'll get there. We'll get through it.
See a specialist.
Everyone see your doctor. For those who don't have a prostate, see a different one.
Still see a doctor.
But she was asking about, because I have some weight loss over the last year. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I told her, I ride in my basement with a bunch of guys on the internet. And she's like, "That's weird." But she said, "Does that not hurt your back to ride all the time?" And I was like, oddly enough, if you have a good setup and your ergonomics are there, I could ride all day. It wouldn't be my back that hurts. I'll tell you that. See your urologist.
Or get a split saddle.
Full circle.
Yep.
See, I've never ridden on a non-split saddle, so I don't know the difference. I'm sure, Greg, you could enlighten us.
Pain. The difference is pain. And friction.
Ooh, friction. Not
That's Iowa's.
Not at all.
I remember when the split saddles started to become more mainstream, and you could get a standard long nose with extra bumps, a channel, if you will. And I got that, and I was like, "Oh man, this is great." And then once I finally got a true split saddle, I was like, "Okay, I'm not going back ever."
Yeah.
What saddle are you running? Just curious.
Actually, right now, I need to get something new, but I'm on a buy saddle because I was able to get one really cheap.
Is that the one that adjusts?
It's totally adjustable.
Yeah.
I got it because I was trying to. Before this, I had a ISM, which is they were one of the first ones to really pump out the split nose saddle to the triathlon crowd. And it was good, but I think it was just a little bit too narrow for me. And I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money buying a bunch of saddles. I found a good deal on buy saddle, and then I just played with it, adjusting it, how narrow in the front, how wide in the back. And then I need to go and buy, because my complaint about the buy saddle, which I otherwise like very well, is that it's super plush, which is fine, but I would much rather have a firmer saddle that the dimensions are correct.
Yeah.
It's too plush. It's too squishy.
Yep. That's always the interesting point, right? The squishier it is, not necessarily the better it is.
Right.
Yeah. No. If you've got it set up right, you want a firm saddle.
Yep.
Because that's
More
one
supportive.
of your primary points of contact.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in my experience, like a squishy saddle, if you will, technical term, just sets you up for more friction.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Correct.
More contact area.
And when you have more friction,
Correct.
you have more saddle sores. And those suck.
Not fun. Not fun. But so
What are you running, Drew?
Me? What is this? Specialized of some sort?
Yeah. What came on your...
Sure.
You ride
Came with the
a
bike.
SL6, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
SL6 came with the Specialized saddle. It's got the little cutout in the middle. It's not complete split, but
I would bet it's probably a power.
yes, that's the
They're
one.
pretty popular. That's what
There
I'm
you
running
go.
to.
That's good. It's comfortable. Does the job. Probably be more comfortable on longer rides, but I
Now,
only
my
really
brother-
feel it. Come on.
My brother, who rides outside a lot, he's a big fan of the Sella Anatomica.
Yep.
It's a leather
Right.
saddle, kind of along the lines of like a Brooks saddle.
Right.
Yeah.
So it gives a little bit. I have one, and I used it, probably a couple months, but it was when I was heavier, and I felt like it gave too much. Like
Yeah.
I could feel it, like
Too much
squish
flex.
whenever I was pushing. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, we. I don't know. Like I said, this came with it. I know the physics saddles are also very popular.
I had a Physic,
Yeah.
and I switched
Did you?
to Specialized. More so, I think the Physic was not the right size for me. It was a
Right.
great saddle and very similar to the power saddle
Right.
in like shape and build, but they only have like a couple sizes, and I don't think they were the right ones for me.
I had Physic for a long time because that was one of the first ones. This is 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago now. That was one of the first ones you could walk into almost any bike shop and they would have a variety of Physic saddles.
Interesting.
You didn't have to like find the Specialized shop or
Right.
the Cannondale shop or whatever. And I could go in and try out a ton of saddles that were similar. I liked the cut. I like how wide I could get it in the back and then how narrow it got in the front.
Right.
That was what I used for a long time.
Interesting.
And then when they introduced their channel, that was the one that I was like, oh,
Hello.
but they
That's
are
the
saddles have come
Argo.
a long way.
I think is the model name, the Argo Vento, or
Now it is, yeah.
yeah.
I was back in the day where there were 3 models to choose from. Antares, Arione. I can't remember the third one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm impressed you remember 2 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't be impressed because that's Greg.
That's great.
Greg knows stuff.
A library of useless information.
Not always useless.
I was going to say. No, I think the saddle, though, is a very overlooked part of the bike fit.
points of contact, man.
Most bike fitters will actually, or they should, fit you with a proper saddle when they fit you on your bike. So makes a difference.
Absolutely.
So this is actually one of those episodes where it's like, hey, we actually talked about stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't just ramble.
Yeah.
We had some key points here from from non-specialists who have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
This is where I'll put up a disclaimer. We are not experts in our field.
No one here knows anything.
But if you find us on Facebook, we are experts.
Yes.
Sure.
100%. Our quote ends up there.
That's why I don't get on Facebook unless it's to mock something.
Actually, Greg, you popped up on my suggested friends recently. I said, wait a minute.
Did you check last time Greg was active?
I think it was like 2018.
That sounds about right.
Bravo.
There you go. I don't think it was for your birthday. You logged on
that
to
sounds
post.
Also right.
Thank you to everyone for wishing me a happy birthday.
The kind wishes. As we talked about last episode, I had to be active to recruit last season. And Sully told me, he's like, go out there, find people. It's like, dang it, I got to get back on Facebook. Because I had, shut it off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Zwift is definitely what brought me back to Facebook.
Yeah.
In I guess it was 2020. It was like the first time I posted, and it was into the dirt group, so nobody can see it.
Yeah.
That's my request for anybody from Zwift who may ever watch this. Make it so that we don't have to get on Facebook to coordinate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Like, I mean, you got the companion app. Just make it just a smidge more social. I'm not talking emojis.
Dear Zwift,
give me
steal my personal data so I don't have to give it to Facebook.
Yeah. Hire that guy from Meta. I won't say his name.
Yeah.
Mostly because I can't remember it at this time of day.
Which guy?
Yeah, the guys. Have them steal all of our data, which is going to be funny because it's all just going to be power data. And they're going to be like, what are these graphs? Joke's on you, Silicon Valley.
We don't know how to use this stuff.
All right. Well, it's that time of day.
Greg, did you want to share any thoughts?
Oh, sure. I'd like to introduce a new segment.
Yeah.
First new segment.
Yeah. First new segment. This is going to be a regular weekly segment. And it is, it's called GIF Games. And I pronounce it GIF. I'm not going to have a further debate about it. GIF sounds stupid, and it's also peanut butter.
Kelso's cringing right now, but okay.
That's fine. Kelso's sleeping. He can cringe later. And
miss you, Kelso.
Just a quick, big time. Quick 1-2 minute rundown of some of the best GIF exchanges we saw in the Discord server. I think the cake taker this week is definitely it was Jesse and Miller.
Yep.
Going back and forth with office GIFs. And it wasn't just that it was back and forth, it was
a story.
A truly communicative exchange. Yeah. Yeah. It was an Instagram story, a journey.
I nearly cried.
Where I think at the end,
I laughed, I cried.
Spoiler alert.
And Jesse was Dwight, I believe, in every one of them.
Yes.
And Miller was Michael Scott. And they just went back and forth for, it was over an hour, not sustained necessarily, but everybody stayed out of their way and let it happen.
I think it was 2 hours from start to finish.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
It was very good. I think I slipped in a Jim quote at one point, or a Jim GIF at one point of "Make it stop."
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was overridden. They went back at it, and then I think a couple people slipped in other unique characters.
Yep.
My contribution was Stanley with the eye roll.
Yeah. Yes. Stanley had the eye roll. Somebody had a nice at the end. I can't remember who it was. That was a very good gift exchange.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give
Props where
highlights
props
of
are
that.
due.
I also wanted to give an honorable mention after Peter, Cincinnati Peter, not Pennsylvania Peter. He posted in the drinks channel about, and that's a very good beer for anyone who does not know. It's the Bigfoot barley wine by Sierra Nevada. And he said it was in his cellar. And I responded, whose cellar? Or he said, I found this in the cellar. I was like, whose cellar? I'm going to come raid that cellar. And then Shan, unprovoked, brilliant, posted some Silence of the Lambs.
Buffalo Bill.
Started talking about putting lotion in baskets. And I took the bait. And then that actually went for a while.
Yep.
We got some Wild Bill dancing from Drew, I think.
Yep.
And then naturally things shifted to Hannibal Lecter and Clarice.
Yep.
And there was a beautiful wink that I will treasure always. So but again, I'm just limiting it to the last week of what happened. That's been Gift Games. Thank you for indulging me.
Yep. No,
It's a very
the
exciting
one with
little
Jesse
time.
and Miller was great. Just like you said, it told a story.
Yeah,
Communicated.
they went back and forth.
through the gifts.
I think it started as they were confronting each other,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
it was a challenge, and the challenge was met. Then they broke apart. They broke up,
Yep.
and then came
Yeah.
back together. It was a succinct and beautiful moment, and I thank you for highlighting it, Greg.
Thank you, everyone.
And with that, we'll end the episode. So, everyone, tune in next week. We'll have something stupid, I'm sure. Not that was stupid. That was glorious. Don't you?
Oh no,
Absolutely.
This whole podcast is stupid with the wink. Don't worry about it.
Absolutely. We're all self-aware. All right, that wraps it up. So we'll see you guys next week.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys.